What should we do? Where should we invest our time? Maybe in the past years, you've bought a land, you've been working on it. Now you're ready to go into farming and you're like, Fred, with the way prices are going, with the way things are going, what should I invest my money in? Stop. Hi guys, once again welcome to Farming in Africa, where we talk about innovative way of farming in Africa. So if this is something for you, then go ahead and smash the subscription button and join the Share family so that we can together educate ourselves about the best practices or how to do farming as a business. So stay with me as today I'm going to talk to you about some of the questions, or one of the popular questions that most of you have been asking me ever since the world started going down, as we all know, and yes, you can blame it on COVID, you can blame it on the Russia-Ukraine war, you can blame it on everything that is happening, but it doesn't change the fact that what is happening. And therefore, we have to be smart about how we do things, right? In general, we need to cut our expenses. We need to make better decisions. We need to be money conscious now. But what do we do as farmers in terms of this difficult moment, right? What should we do? Where should we invest our time? Maybe in the past years, you've bought a land, you've been working on it. Now you're ready to go into farming and you're like, Fred, with the way prices are going, with the way things are going, what should I invest my money in? Stop. And let me tell you, because I don't want you to come back to me crying. I don't want you to schedule a time with me and tell me, Fred, you told us to go into poultry, you told us to go into goats, and now here we are, we can do this. And that is why today I have dedicated this time to do this video and share with you guys what my personal experience is and how I'm thinking about things now. Because yes, when something is doing good, I share with you guys as well, and most of you do take that responsibility and action it. And therefore, when my mentality change, or when my lens of looking at things change, I deem it necessary to be able to tell you guys as well, so that you have the full picture on what is going on or where I am as a person. So as I said, we all understand that things are not the same even since the past 6 months, since last year, right? So therefore, what is new? What am I thinking? And most of you are asking me, where should I put my resources or my investment? This is how I am thinking about it. Yes, commodities have increased drastically and it's not going to stop. It's going to continue increasing. A bag of maize that we used to buy at 150 is now costing 500 cedis. Especially in markets like Africa, where things are not well regulated, there is nothing you and I can do about it. And the fact that some of us, even though we know that this price is outrageous, we will sell it that way. Even though we know very well that we could have sold it cheaper. It is what it is. I'm not here to judge you as a farmer who has maize, or I'm not here to judge you if you sell maize. But what I'm saying to you, who is going to buy, the consumer, that it is not going to get easy. And therefore, you should take that into consideration. Commodities are going to increase. If you're going into poultry, wheat brown is increasing, soya beans is increasing. Let's even pray that there's no shortage, because then that will be even another problem, right? If there is availability, and you can't afford it, that's even a different case, right? You find ways to sort that out. But when we don't have it at all, then we are screwed. And that's why we need to rethink about how we are doing business in farming and what kind of things that we are investing our money and time in. And therefore, to me, I think if you're now thinking about going into livestock or farming, the best advice that I can give you at this moment is to think about, how do I reduce my expenditure? That's the first thing, right? Labor, you definitely need people to support you. You also need, to pay yourself, or you need workers. So labor, yeah, you need to consider that. But of course, those are costs that you cannot escape. The second thing I would think about is feed, right? If you're doing poultry farm, about 60–70% of your income is going to go into feeding, right? If you're doing goats and you're going to do serious intensive goats, then you also need some sort of feeding, right? So you look at, if you're doing pig, again, you're buying wheat bran, you're buying corn, right? So you need to look at the market prices of all these commodities and decide how to reduce that, because there's no way, you know, you can be spending like, I don't know, like your monthly budget on your goat. If it's like on feed alone, you're spending 3,000, 2,000. There's no way you're gonna rear goats and be able to sell them at that price, right? Especially if you're not breeding. So what I am thinking, or what I feel like people need to consider, and this is a suggestion from me, is to start farming that will require less capital or investment into feeding. And for the past few months, if you guys can remember, I've been pushing on goat farming, and that's why we have been importing goat from South Africa, because I feel like with goat farming, if I have my brachiaria grass already planted, or if I have as much hay as I have at the back of me, what is my cost on my goat farming? Medication and maize. And goats don't even eat that much. So if I even have 1 acre to grow corn or maize, that I'm sorted. I already have my brachiaria grass here, so my sort of expenditure is very low. If I have cows, and again, I can have times 2 or 3 of this feed stored already, feeding them, then I'm also sorted. But if I have poultry and I can feed them this much of food, and I have to buy maize, I have to buy soya beans, I have to buy eggshells, I have to buy all these nutrients that they need, then at the end of the day, all my money is gonna go back into the business and my profit margin is gonna shrink. And that's why it's very important that before you go into any farming business, you guys need to do this assessment. My recommendation for you is to go into livestock. Go into goats, go into sheep. Pig is debatable because you still need to spend a lot of money on a monthly basis for pig. Even though, yes, their multiplication factor, their reproduction factor is fast, but the amount of money you invest in it, if you're not very strong at these bad times, then I won't recommend it for you. I am focusing a lot on goats because I don't need enough money to put into goats. Yes, the kind of goat I'm doing are quite expensive, but it's a one-time payment. I have my feed sorted, and therefore there's no extra cost on a monthly or daily basis that I have to go through. And therefore, that is what I will recommend to you guys if you guys are thinking about going into farming now. If you have other farms that is still running, depending on what your decisions are or what kind of things you want to do, then it's up to you, because I know people that have poultry farm and they've sold everything. Just like me, I haven't bought any chicks in a very long time. Why? Because the cost of feeding is crazy and I don't want to invest that much money into it. Meanwhile, the prices of egg and the chick itself hasn't actually increased drastically as compared to the feed and so on. And therefore, it doesn't make business sense if you want to do real business to continue investing or buying more chicks. So at some point, probably eggs is also going to be very scarce. Yes, some people say if you're able to enjoy it longer, you might reap the profit. Yes, I have enjoyed poultry for 2 years, and trust me, I stopped making profit a long time ago. And therefore, I decided not to do that again. Not because there is no demand for the eggs or the chicks, but the price at which people are willing to buy it at and the cost of me feeding them to produce that doesn't make sense. And that is why I am not doing it, and that is why I am not encouraging you to do it as well. So if you're really thinking about going into farming, my #1 recommendation for you is either goat farming, sheep farming. If you have enough size of land, go for cattle farming. But if you want to begin, if you want to test it out, this is my 2 recommendations to you, and I think you should make that decision based on the research of your community, the demand in your area. But this is what I recommend to you guys. poultry is going down, and don't start now. Do your research. Don't take just my word for it. Do the research and then make the decision for yourself. I feel obligated to let you guys know what I'm thinking, what I'm doing and not doing, so that you guys can also make the decision for yourself, so that you will not go and burn the capital that you have saved for years to be able to have something running. I hope this is helpful, but if not, let me know in the comment below if you agree with me or not. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.